Are you in the weeds? Busy trying to get things done, or are you in the weeds literally? Are they taking over your yard? With some tips on how to control these plant pests, Dr. Whitney Elmore always brings the knowledge on these topics. Great to see you, Dr.
You
Whitney.
too. Good to be back.
Yeah, thanks for being here and dealing with something that explaining something we all deal with.
Yes.
Now, we know they don't look good in your yard. We know weeds just look unsightly, but there are other reasons that you need to get rid of them.
Yeah, so, especially when we're talking about weeds in our lawns. Weeds, and weeds, it's really just a plant with an unhappy owner, basically. They have their place and everything, but when they're in our yard, they can outcompete with our turf grasses for nutrients and for water. They can even harbor some diseases and some insect pests, and they do look unsightly, right? And so it can be a little bit of an issue for the health of our turf. And something that we do have to try to work to control.
And as you're explaining this, I'm thinking weeds are tough. If they can,
they're very tough.
If they take the nutrients from others and can survive some of those other sorts of, bacteria, whatnot. Okay, so next question. With all these different types of weeds, I guess you have to know what type of weed you have before you attack.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have to be very careful, especially if we're talking about, herbicide use, because we can do a lot of damage in the landscape and to our turf grass plants. Plus, we don't want to put chemicals out that are necessary.
That we don't need to.
Yeah, we don't need to do that in the environment. So really the first attack is all about prevention of the weeds. So
I thought you were going to say pull them.
Well,
yes,
and that is definitely a part of it. But the first thing we want to do is prevent, and we can prevent in our lawns by having nice, vigorous, thick lawns. That starts with putting the right plant in the right place. So making sure that we've got the right turf grass for the location and the situation, and that it's happy. So that means proper irrigation, proper fertilization, mowing height, mowing techniques. And that will help us then kind of outcompete with the weeds, basically. They're there. They're ready to spring at any time.
Right. You are a wealth of knowledge, Dr. Whitney. Okay, so you brought all these different types of weeds, and we can say, we see this one or we see that one in our own yard, and then know the proper way to attack. What do you have here?
So, the individual identification is not usually all that critical to us in terms of control if we're talking chemical control becoming necessary, okay? And if we're using certain chemicals on the wrong types of plants, it's not going to do anything.
They can be tougher than that chemical, or
it's just not targeted. Absolutely, it's not targeted, so you waste a lot of time, money, and you do some damage that way. So there are three broad categories of weeds. So we have grassy weeds. Grassy weeds have these parallel veins on the leaves, okay? And if I were to cut this one open, if you notice down inside, it's hollow.
Oh, I see.
It'll be hollow down in there. Okay.
So you cut open a weed, if it's got the hollow, then you know it's a grassy weed.
It's a grassy weed, and I need to attack it in terms of chemical control aimed at grassy weeds. Then you can have broadleaf weeds. Broadleaf weeds, just as the name implies, usually broader leaves, but you'll have this netted veination. Almost looks like the veins in your palm on the leaf.
Those aren't as unsightly, by the way.
Not usually.
Right, unless they take over.
And they can be very, very pretty, but they will have a different type of chemical control associated. Then compared to something like the nut sedges. Now, nut sedges look like a grassy weed, okay?
Right.
Very closely related, but if you were to roll the stem in your fingers, it's going to have edges. We say sedges have edges.
So it's like almost three-sided.
Yes, absolutely. And if you cut it, it's not going to be hollow inside.
It's like a triangle.
Yeah, it looks like a triangle.
That makes sense.
And you can feel it. That's a different kind of chemical control compared to even like the grassy weeds.
Got it. Okay, so we have these different approaches. Dr. Whitney, you're not going to believe this. Funny we're talking today because over the weekend, I come outside, my husband, he bought a blowtorch for some reason. I'm like, what did you buy a blowtorch? He's like, oh, just wait. And I see him in the front yard. We've got the pebbles and some weeds are coming up. And so he is attacking it. So is that a proper way to attack weeds?
It's a valid way. I mean, hand pulling, mechanical, getting in there and pulling them out is one of the more effective ways. But if you feel like using a blowtorch, and going, as long as you're safe, it's an adequate way to help.
He's going to be very vindicated. You gave him approval on that as long as he's careful.
Only outside.
He was taking videos of himself doing it, and I'm thinking this guy's just enjoying playing with the blowtorch. Well, good stuff. I love your advice. We're going to follow it. Thank you so much, Dr. Whitney.
Thank you.
Love having you.